live streaming it? so they can hear us.
They should be able to hear us now.
Okay. Maybe I should do a little freestyle, even though I suck at that.
Let's
Check one,
see.
two.
Let's do some overlays over here.
Okay. So they can hear us.
They can
Hey,
hear
where'd
us.
you
You
just?
should be able to hear us now.
Okay, where'd you post the link, by the way? Maybe I should do a little freestyle, even though I suck at that. My guy.
Uh, all right, 1 second. The computer was my YouTube was on. I turned it off already.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, what does that even mean?
I could hear everything we said in the computer. Everybody can hear us double.
Um, gotcha. Okay, so we just start or.
Yeah, I'm just unlocking some of the overlays.
Hmm. Well, while you're doing that, you hear about the new updates to the League of Legends fighting game?
Uh, no,
That's a thing. I forgot that was a thing.
the League of Legends fighting game.
Yeah, there's a League of Legends. It's called Project L. At least for now. I'm not sure that's like what they're sticking with, but that's a thing. I want my Jinx tech. Watch. I need to see a
Uh,
combo video.
I did not know that that was a thing. So
What's the thing? Hold on.
trying to figure out my overlay over here, but it seems like
Look, man, if you can just like put like I don't know like for like the order of a 50-piece McNuggets thing, then we're fine.
there we go.
Let's go. Do what you will. All right.
So anyway, how you been doing, Mango?
I'm doing my guy. I'm doing okay. Kind of coming back. Working on my stuff. You know. How about you?
I'm good. Um, so far so good. You know, it hasn't been a bad week. Let's say it like that.
Well, well, that's good. He's not like straight up horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. All right. Let's start this show over here. Hi Warriors. My name is Kai. I am here today with Mango here from
Hello.
Oversoul. Um, we're not gonna do an introduction, but well, I do want to introduce Mango. Actually, you know, Mango. Maybe you can tell us, maybe
Hey.
what games have you played that you remember a little bit, since when have you been playing games, and what is that you do?
All right. Well, first, hello. I do go by Miracle, but Kai calls me Mango.
Oh, sorry.
Um, no, you're fine. You can call me Mango if you want, man. Um, but yeah, my name is Miracle. I make the Oversoul card game. We're on like set two now. Set two is about to get released, so that's pretty awesome. And I started. I've been playing games for a while. I kind of started with what most people started with, like the big three: Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon. I never really played MTG until like high school. Not really a big fan of MTG. we could probably talk about that later. But yeah, that's sort of my experience with games. Then also around high school, I got into more uh, Japanese card games. That's sort of like the kind of stuff that I enjoy the most. I don't know, just Eastern philosophy to game design is just a lot more interesting to me. So I really enjoy stuff like Duel Masters and Card Fight Vanguard, Bushiroad games in general. So yeah.
All right. Um, so you've been playing card games since high school. You have played obviously the big three and a couple of Japanese card games.
Yep.
Um, Now you say, why is it that obviously your what's your issue with MTG?
MTG. Okay. MTG. Whack. The way they walk into the cafeteria. Whack. No. So I don't. I don't like MTG. Mainly, it's the mana system. Um, Trading card games. They already have an RNG aspect to them. You have to top deck. You're either you get good draws or you don't. And then to add in a mechanic such as the way that their lands work into a game design that's already based around RNG and adds even more RNG to it just feels very sucky. And it's not even like how Vanguard does it, because with Vanguard because they don't need mana. That's not how the game works. But even with their trigger system, uh, even though that's a thing that exists, you still draw a lot in the game, and you're constantly going through your deck. With MTG, that's not really the case. And even if you wanted to do things like go through your deck, you still need mana. You can't play those cards to go through your deck without any mana in play, and that's kind of like the main reason why I don't enjoy MTG. Um, and it really sucks when a lot of games come down to either having only mana in hand or having no mana at all. The game is fun. When you're like playing with friends, like I have my the most fun I've had with MTG is just casual kitchen table magic with my family. But um, it's just the flaws that the game has. Of course, every game has flaws. I just don't, I don't enjoy that.
Hmm, okay. Um, since we're okay, what you're saying is that you don't like the resource system.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right. Um, so basically, you're saying that the resource system on MTG is sweaty.
Sweaty.
Yeah, it's like grindy. You have to fight for it, search for it. Wait for it. Obviously, if you don't get mana flush or mana screw. Um,
Yeah,
so
it's I
don't
want to
you
be able to
think that
play more.
that is part of the deck building aspect of the game?
I mean, it can be like I understand that deck ratios and stuff, is a thing. Um, but in the case of like how it is and okay, and this is gonna be weird because like they're both two different games, but like Pokemon has a sort of mana system in their game, but you don't necessarily need them to play all the cards in the game.
Well, if you're gonna talk about Pokemon, you can see that in that game, the evolution system was the problem. Obviously, they fix it with a lot of search and a lot of draw
Mhm.
power. Because when you play Pokemon, a draw one is a trash card. It usually
Yeah,
goes draw six, Ultra Ball, where you actually search for a Pokemon. You know, um, so is it usually a draw one or a draw two is a trash. It's
yeah,
trash over there. So you have a lot of draw power.
yeah,
So you can
yeah.
always have those Pokemon. You can always have those manas in hand. Um, but still. um your energy or your mana, whatever it is on Pokemon, still on the inside your deck. The way they
Mhm.
fix this obviously is with a lot of draw power.
Yeah.
Um,
Um. But okay, I want to say this though, because if you were to try to do that in MTG, which it does exist, but like, what happens when you don't get any of the mana to be able to do that? And I don't think that making zero cost cards
I
just
mean, the
willy.
only problem with Pokemon that I see with that analogy between Pokemon and Magic is that Pokemon actually don't need mana to use anything except for the attacks.
Except for the creatures, yeah.
So it's like basically you can use any card as long as you don't attack. Um, so it's like everything is free. Where in Magic, well, you need a resource to actually be able to play stuff.
Hmm.
But I do understand where you're going, what you're going with, and I'm gonna be honest. I totally agreed with what you are saying. Is the resource system of MTG is not perfect.
It's not.
Um, However, I do have to defend the system. First of all, it was the first one created.
Hmm.
Second of all, it is non-linear, which is something that most of the MTG players like. Um, if you talk to an MTG player defending the mana system, they usually
Hmm.
tell you that the mana system is not linear, which is understandable. If you have played Hearthstone, you get one mana every turn. If you have played Force of Will, it is. I'm not gonna say Force of Will. It is non-linear because you have to tap that ruler to get a
Yeah.
mana. So if you don't
And then
tap it, you don't get that mana, but still you have
mhm,
the option to tap it every single turn, getting one mana every turn. So it is linear. Um,
one thing though with Force of Will that I will say, like in the case of let's say a mono deck, yeah, it's very linear. But if you're playing a multicolor deck, uh, you have the chance of not getting the colors where you're just getting one specific color and you can't play into your other stuff. But
yeah,
that's
that
also
that is
so,
that is a thing on Force of Will. I'm not gonna say
yeah.
it is not. I'm not gonna cover the hand, but still, it feels like a better resource system than
Uh-huh.
MTG does.
Yeah.
And obviously you have the dual master, where everything is mana.
Hmm.
Um, Obviously, I don't know. I mean, I do enjoy the resource system of everything as mana.
Yeah.
Um, but I do have to say that it tends to get kind of slow. So I
Hmm.
can't remember the game right now, but there was one game that did one mana. Everything is mana, but you draw two cards instead of one. So it's like a charge and draw, you know. So I did enjoy that. I can't remember the name right now, but it's a Japanese game. Um, so
I think I might know what you're talking about. It sounds familiar, but go ahead.
so that game again.
Oh,
You
zillions of enemies.
say what?
Zillions of enemies.
No, no.
Oh no.
It's I can't remember the name right now, but it was a Japanese game. Some you know
Right.
um girls, kind of all girls Japanese game.
Wixes.
No, I don't think Wix has used the mana system like that. Um,
Okay.
but anyway, like I was saying, um, where you have, the problem that I see with Dual Masters Everything as Mana is that you tend to get stuck, usually, especially on the first turn. What do I play as the first, the mana over there? That is usually the 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 first turn, like thinking ahead of time. People trying to think ahead of time. Okay, turn one I can play this. Turn two, turn three. So these I won't be able to play it until high turns, but I only run one, so I have it here. So it tends to get like a little bit, like people think a lot on that, and usually drawing two cards per turn alleviate that a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, where
Or
you
having a large hand size, that would help though, right?
say what?
Having a large hand size at the start.
Um, having a large hand size starting the game, it is. I say it is okay. I don't say it is bad. Um, it all depends on how fast the game is. Because
Right.
if you give too many options to the player, then it turns one sided. It
Yeah.
usually goes to the first player first win.
Yeah, they can just go off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. So I don't know. Um. When you say about the leveling system of oh my god, Car 5 Vanguard.
Mm-hmm.
Um. I will not say it is not a good system. It works. It is a good system, but it is a system that is for kind of like fast-paced games
Mm-hmm.
where you are at turn three, you're at max already. Turn four, well now, but and
Builds up both players quickly at the same time.
say what?
It builds up both players quickly at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, it is a good system if you are doing like a fast-paced game.
Yeah.
So, but in the case of something like MTG, where it's something that you build up to something, it is a game that usually takes around, well, 30 minutes. I'm not saying obviously there's aggro decks that can finish it in 5 minutes. Not mentioning those one turn KOs, deck. Um,
Okay.
but an enjoyable game, it usually tends to be like 25, 30 minutes. Um, for a game like that, being non-linear and defending again the mana system from MTG, again being non-linear, there is not many of those. MTG is. I mean, I can barely mention any. I don't think I can. Well, those randomized dice games, where you throw a dice and whatever you get, is the amount of energy you're gonna play. Um, I say that is still non-linear because if you get a one, there's barely anything you can play.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but again, that's the best I can do. And whoa, I do
I feel
not
like
know
I.
what is that. um,
So, would you say that the fun comes from not, or sometimes you're not able to? How do you say? Where you're not able to do as much as you might be able to if you were to get the research consistently, but if you are able to win, it's a bit more gratifying.
and that is actually one of the stuff, the Oh, that's
Hmm.
we have a new follower. That is what this was. That is one of the stuff that we were arguing with some of the people. Um, it is that
Hmm.
yes, I do understand that MTG is not the best balanced game compared to
Yeah.
others. I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh is not either, just in case. Um,
Slivers are perfectly balanced. I'm just saying.
yeah, sure. Um, and I do understand that the mana system on MTG is not the best, mana system. However,
Yeah.
this is one of the points that I'm making is that although it might be grindy, it's like you playing a Dark Souls game.
Yeah.
You play and fail. You play and fail. You play and fail. And at the end, when you beat that monster, you are like, fuck yeah, this feels amazing. And it's the same thing on MTG. You know, if everything goes well and your decks plays well and your opponent's deck plays well, you can have an
Hmm.
amazing match back and forth, and it feels good. Now, when you pull out that combo that your deck was built for, out of everything, out of the sweaty mana system, with the mana screw and the mana, um, what is the other mana? I forgot the other one. Uh, from mana flood. Um,
Yeah.
and you are basically behind, and your opponent is beating you, and at the end you put that combo that you were waiting for, and you manage to pull it and beat the shit out of your opponent. It feels amazing. It feels
Yeah.
gratifying. And that is one of the things that, yeah, a lot of games are fun. There's a lot of games that I can mention that are fun, you know,
Hmm.
but they're fun, but they don't feel gratifying.
Right.
And that is the difference between some games and others. MTG, yes, it doesn't have the perfect mana system. There's a lot of times that you're gonna get mana screw or mana flood.
Right.
Um, and again, it is non-linear, and you're gonna be screwed a lot of times. It's just that one time that you get everything right and you get the perfect cards, and it's your moment to shine, and you manage to do it, and everybody's looking at you, and you feel fucking amazing. And that is the moment. If you play MTG and you have played MTG, a couple of times, um, maybe not participating, in tournaments, but you have played with friends and stuff like that. I'm not talking about, oh, I play MTG for a month, play around, I don't know, like 20 match and quit. I didn't like the game.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, you play MTG, but in 20 games, you I will say you're still a beginner.
Yeah. No, definitely.
MTG is not a game that, I mean, yes, you can learn most of the game in 20 games, but there is going to be a lot of interactions that you're missing, especially in a
Hmm.
game like MTG. um but you know um even though you're playing a game in 20 minutes, I'm pretty sure if you once managed to beat whoever it is that it was unbeatable on your on that game, on those 20 games, you fucking feel amazing. I'm pretty sure you fucking feel amazing.
What if
Unless
what if they
unless obviously the opponent mana flood.
yeah, I was gonna
Mana
say
screw.
because that's just like
Yeah,
because I
then it doesn't feel like you
the
win
game
at all.
yeah, because the game can definitely be fun. Like I actually enjoy the stack. a lot more than the chain in Yu-Gi-Oh. I love the interactions in MTG, but a lot of times losing, even if I do have like really good ratio, spell to mana ratio, for my deck. The times when I just lose because I just don't get mana, or I only get mana, just it makes it not fun.
Yeah,
Um,
I am not gonna say, like I said, MTG has a problem.
yeah,
I'm not gonna deny it. I am not, I'm not saying that it is perfect. It's not perfect.
yeah,
This that I said is just for those people who are defending,
hmm,
MTG itself.
yeah,
Um, I have to say that if they are defending the mana system because it's non-linear, I
yeah,
am not denying them their, right to actually say anything. Their mana system is non-linear. I cannot say many games that has a mana system that is non-linear, except for dice games, and
yeah.
you know that is fine. It's a different kind of game.
Okay. I will say though, like this comes. I would say that I'm spoiled by Yu-Gi-Oh. Because Yu-Gi-Oh is a very fast game. I can just like pop off turn one and just do whatever.
Yeah, I mean, non having having a resource system per se. There is a
Yeah.
research system. Obviously, you can tribute monsters. Um,
Hmm.
Obviously, the life is always a resource too. The graveyard is
Yeah.
a resource. Your deck is a resource, but there is no resource card per se.
Yeah.
Um, and non having a resource in the game will need a lot of job to balance the game. And
Yeah.
I will say that is not something that Konami is known for. Um,
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh! It is a good game. It is a great game. Hey, I played Yu-Gi-Oh! For years. I even buy boxes. I used to play it at the beginning, obviously until the heroes. No, actually, the Dark Synchro.
Dark Synchro?
I play until the Synchro Monster. When Dark Synchro came in, I didn't play those. I didn't like them. So that's when I quit Yu-Gi-Oh. Um,
I I stopped Yu-Gi-Oh around like Pendulum, and then from there I would just go like
yeah,
on.
when okay, I haven't played Yu-Gi-Oh on cards, but
Mhm.
I always have that, how you call this, itchiness, and
To play.
like itchiness, like, well, I want to like kind of play Yu-Gi-Oh, and I always, I don't know, download the game on my Switch or my PlayStation 2, 3. Um, Not 5. I don't have a 5, but all the others, yes. And I always download it and play it, buy it on the store, play it just to,
Mhm.
play a little bit with what is new and what is not.
And then you
Um,
play, and you're just like, oh, this is why I stopped.
yeah, until Pendulums come. That completely screwed me over. I do not like them. I don't
What don't you
know
like?
Pendulums.
Pendulums?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
I do not know why they're make. They, there
They're fun
was
to play,
there
not
was
against.
one thing to play with Dark Synchros and well, I think the XYZ games after Pendulums. Which I don't hate, but um, but um, there was one thing about the Synchro Monster and the numbers. I don't remember that. The ones with the numbers. um, and while I don't like them, I did not
Mm,
hate them. You see,
yeah.
when the pendulums come, it was like I can't deal with this. I totally hate them. It was I don't know. For me, I did not enjoy the game at that moment. First of all, the rules on those cars are like very small. You have
Yeah.
a textbook in one little tiny square. Second of all,
The
it's
cards
like
are really small too.
they alter the rules just to put those in the game,
Hmm.
and it feels unnatural to somebody who has been playing Yu-Gi-Oh to this point, and boom, all of a
Yeah.
sudden, okay, what? There are new rules. There's just a new board now. There's what the fuck is this? um, and that said, for me, that's when Yu-Gi-Oh dies. If like right now, I take a look at the cards every once in a while, you know, but I don't play it anymore just because of them. Just because I know that if I play on my Switch online, I know there
Mhm.
will be somebody playing with stupid things.
Some really toxic stuff. Yeah.
Not to mention that those one turn KOs, those no one turns FTKs, first
Yeah.
turns KOs. Those are the ones that piss me off. Mm, I start the game, hey, let's play this game, okay, and then I see the opponent just bam. I'm like, okay, I didn't even play the game. All right, I'm bored now. Let's turn this off. This is not a game anymore. This is just somebody's massacre.
Do you know Speedle?
Speed duels?
Have you Speedles?
Yes.
Yeah. So like I kind of like that because um it actually lets you play Yu-Gi-Oh. And what they release for that format is a bit more controlled, so they don't just put in like broken stuff, and it just feels a lot more back and forth.
I know speed duels is a thing, for a while.
Yeah.
Um, to be honest, I haven't seen much of it except for the other day when I went to my local Target, and I saw Jaden's box. I think it was the one from the motorcycles.
That's you say, bro.
And that one, I don't know. Well, I did not watch Yu-Gi-Oh after the first Yugi, Jami Yugi. So
I I think like you don't really see product, or you don't really see people playing.
yeah, I don't see neither of those both. I don't see product until that day. It was well.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I did see some packs, but this
Hmm.
was on. I think it was on one local game stores, one of my local
Hmm.
game store. Um, but it was like nobody was buying it. And I asked the dude over there, and he told me that nobody was buying it. So, um, they were like pretty cheap just because of that. Um,
Yeah.
but
I would
then
say
the other it was like 2 weeks, no, 1 week ago that when I went to Target and I saw you know the dude with the motorcycles one.
um the thing. Okay, so like the thing with that, I feel is because of I don't know, like there's always going to be in every card game community where the more sweaty players will belittle the casual players, but it's more so in Yu-Gi-Oh. Like there's less of that. Like they're more accepted in like games like MTG and Pokemon, and like the casual community is a lot bigger. But is like very small when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh. Like the community is just way too sweaty, and speed duels is just one of those things where it's like this is more so a casual format, so no one really plays it, which is kind of a I don't know. Like I think that there should be a lot more casual. Uh,
Totally agree. Like Yu-Gi-Oh nowadays, regular Yu-Gi-Oh nowadays is not for casual players.
it's really not.
I
If you
mean,
go in wanting to have fun, you will be sorely disappointed.
yeah. I mean, maybe if you go with some friends, and try to play
Yeah,
casually, okay, fine. But you go for a tournament, you're not gonna have fun unless you're one
but
of those sweaty motherfuckers.
what is casual though? Because like at this like because Yu-Gi-Oh is just a game where it's like even in casual, like I've seen casual where
I,
people are still putting out FTKs.
I
You know what I
mean,
mean?
yeah, I'm not gonna say FTKs on casual.
Yeah, I've seen it,
No,
man.
then that dude was not casual at one point and just he just picked up his old deck.
I
But
gotta play with this cool.
yeah. Um
There's some main cards in here.
but I don't know. Is casual for me is that you play every once in a while. You're not buying that many packs. You just play to have fun.
Yeah.
Especially that last part. You just play to have fun. You're not trying to win an OTK, do an OTK, just to win. And well, not an OTK, an FTK just to win. You're trying to actually play the game. Enjoy the game, enjoy the little moments.
All
Um,
right.
and yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying about the communities. Even in Happy, I will say it depends on what community you go to, but even in MTG, although they try to help you learn the game, you know that when you open those packs in front of those who know, and you have that rare, they're gonna try to scam you. They're gonna try to rip you off.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, it's like, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not just on MTG, it's
Every
mostly
game.
every game. But,
Yeah.
what I meant is that in MTG, you will see Chiefs, a wolf wearing a sheep costume. They will
Yeah.
try to help you. Oh, yeah, you can do this and that and this and that. But once they see that you get just, they're trying to like get you into the game so that they can rip you off later on.
Man.
Not
I mean, let's.
everybody. Not it's
Yeah.
not everybody, but
Not
you're gonna have those too.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Um,
Um.
have you ever, real quick, I just wanted to ask, have you ever like sat down and have you ever had an experience with a person at an LGS where um they sit down and set up their stuff and they're like just hella extra?
What do you mean hella extra?
So, for example, I'm gonna bring up Universal Fighting System, for example, because there's a lot of extra people in there. They over
Okay.
here, they have a Ken deck. They got their Ken playmat. They got their little Ken plushie. They got Hado on their t-shirts or something like that. They go full decked out. They have a full-on Ken statue just sitting on the corner.
I mean,
They're just
I'm gonna be honest with you. Have you ever tried to go to an LGS and play Magic? Everybody who goes to an LGS, if you're not casual and you are like a sweaty motherfucker, everybody who goes to play LG, on an LGS MTG, you go over there and everybody's like, you can hear them, and it's like they live inside the MTG website, looking at just reading cards. I'm like, bro, I have a life. I don't know what you do, but I have life. Um, But yeah, and I know in Yu-Gi-Oh it is too, but it's less. It's a little bit less, common in Yu-Gi-Oh than it is on other card games. Um, that in MTG at least. Um, Pokemon is different. Pokemon kind of like it kind of have like your Pikachu's and your Charizards and your specifics. Obviously they have
Bro, I've seen
knowledge,
watching
but
play
they
card
always
games about.
have like some specifics that they're aiming for. So what?
Now, I'm saying that I've seen people like just roll up down and like their stuff when they play Pokemon as well.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
do it too.
I haven't seen many of them. I know, um, they talk a lot about um, how you call this, like the online games and stuff like that. Oh, this one with this stuff, with this ability, you can combo it with this other, but that's different. I'm talking about the TCG itself, and usually in Pokemon, they have their specifics.
Right.
Um, you don't see usually that. I mean, those that's especially on the big three. Um, the Force of Will community
Interesting.
is
Because the game has kind of become Yu-Gi-Oh in my opinion.
yeah. I mean, the game right now. I mean, I stopped playing after. Let's see. I did play Valhalla. Then it
New Valhalla.
was yeah. Then it
Yeah.
was what is the Fairy Tales one again?
Crimson Moon, I
No,
think.
no. I mean
Or New Valhalla.
the I can't remember. Anyway, when the extra deck with the 10 cards that were broken as hell. Um,
The
that's when
Divinity or
no, the Divinity
the
was
Strange.
fine. The Strangers, yeah, that's when I stopped playing.
No, that's broken. Even in Duel Masters, like, because Duel Masters they had the gotcha range zone, and that was just
Yeah,
dumb. I've seen somebody play, and they just like it felt like I was watching an OTK because they were just like summoning like stuff from the gotcha range zone for like crazy.
well, I mean, usually those are the ones I hear the most. Those are the ones that are more popular. I know that the My Hero Academy is actually pretty good on the community. Um, the Flesh and Blood, that's a community I never get into. Um, I did have some
And then,
decks,
but
but I never, like went to the community and actually asked. I know when I went to the LGS, to try to learn it and play it, they were pretty, they were pretty helpful. They didn't. I don't know.
yeah,
It's the
really friendly.
community. I don't know. How the community is. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah.
I
Um,
I would say like Flesh and Blood community is kind of like um they're to me they're kind of like the Vanguard community. They kind of give the same vibes, just like less otaku.
okay.
If that makes
Yeah.
like they're of course they're gonna be super friendly because they want people to play their game. They're always looking for people to play the game.
Yeah. I guess. I
Um,
guess. I
yeah,
did went to the
but then
Wasteworks
there's
community,
always
and the Wasteworks community is totally different. It is not so much about the game, and it's more about finding cards.
so it's more of a it's become more of a collector's thing.
Yeah, it is more like a collector's kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
People trying to
I
make,
mean, is mhm.
people trying to to make business, oh, why are you collecting? Which set is the one that you have. And if it is the one that that they want, they're gonna start asking, oh, you have this one, you have these, you have any signed cards? I can trade you a bunch for it. So, it's
I mean, well, when you look at Vice Schwartz, it's literally just, hey, we're gonna release this anime series, and we're not gonna add any more support unless there's more stuff added to that series. So of course, it's gonna be like a collector's thing.
what you're talking about, the website itself, or you're talking about the community?
Just Vice Schwartz itself.
Oh yeah, yeah. Usually that's the case. Yeah, usually it's a one thing,
Yeah.
you know, and then later on, if it becomes like really popular, then we'll continue. We'll move on to it. Um,
Yeah.
it's usually the case with Fates. Um,
Mm.
I don't know if Attack on Titan have any more releases after two, but you know, um,
I just need,
uh,
I need my Gurren
Sao.
Lagann reprint.
Say what?
I need my Gurren Lagann reprints, man.
Damn, bro.
I need them,
Damn. Even I know. I mean, even if they are, I know you're not gonna buy them.
man. Bushiroad would never do that. They already
Nah, yeah,
hate
they
Bush.
move on from that. Yeah, they
Yeah.
have other stuff to do. That's
Yeah.
why you have to collect them while they're fresh. Hey, it took me around 4 years to collect mine, but I did collect everything. So
I've only got like a little bit of Adventure Time stuff.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know if Adventure Times will be one that you are gonna be able to collect, especially now.
No, it's not. I'm not spending more than like $1 on a piece of cardboard.
Oh yeah, then definitely you're not.
Unless I have fuck you money, but I don't.
All right.
But yeah,
Oh, what the heck?
go ahead.
All right. So moving on. Let's talk about our games.
Okay.
So obviously, this is an Astrom Gods podcast, and
Mm-hmm.
when like I said at the beginning, when I first started this, um, every interaction that we talk about in here, we're gonna compare it to whoever to our games. Um,
Right.
so um, I have to say because already talk about resources. Um,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, we talk about MTG or non-linear resource. We talk about not waste source, card for
Card
Vanguard, where
and Yu-Gi-Oh.
you have the level. Yu-Gi-Oh has no resource per se, and then you
Yeah.
have your lineal resource, um,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously every card has mana. Um, obviously there's more resource over there. Dice, you, points. There's a
Sure.
lot of other resource.
Yeah.
Well, it used to be crystals depending on the cost of the card. Now it's two crystals. Final Fantasy, um,
Yeah. Then
where
there's Memory, which
this
was adopted from Crystal Clans.
wait, there is one.
Memory that Digimon
Oh
uses.
yes, yes.
That was originally originally in a game called Crystal Clans.
You mean the memory system from the new Digimon or the old ones?
The new Digimon.
That's the Chrono Clash system.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah. The Chrono Clash system is not new. Is Digimon is the one that make it popular, but there
yeah,
is a few games that had that system before Digimon. Um,
yeah.
are they popular? Nah, not not at
They
all.
can be with your help. No,
Nah, I don't think they will be. Making little icons on the cards, and everybody has to learn what the icons are. It makes it really hard.
oh yeah, no, like Chrono Clash, bad. I don't. I. A lot of people say, well, you get used to it, but I don't want to get used to it. I just want to read. I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh player. Like I'm gonna read it, then I'm gonna forget.
Yeah, I mean, if it's, I don't want to go to the book every time I need to learn what the heck a card does. And yes, you will get used to most of them, but there is always going to be one that is going to be like, what the fuck does that do? I have to go back to the book again.
Hey,
um,
yo, what does blue mean? What, wait, this is a red version.
yeah. So, having iconographies on the game is like, it helps. Um, but again, not everything needs to be a stupid iconography.
Yeah,
Um, but anyway, yeah, the memory system is one. um, there is one game that used life as damage, damage as resource, where
hmm,
you have certain amount, and then as you play the game, when you play your cards, your cards have damage, and they will give you damage in order for you to play them.
yeah,
Um, so to play the game, you need to actually take damage. Um, so there's a lot of resource system in there.
yeah,
It's just most popular ones are cards of resource. Um, obviously you also have the One Piece card game. Um, where where you have a separate deck and you get two resources every turn. Um, let me ask you this, because I know you have an issue with it. So let me ask you, what do you think about the One Piece card game?
man. it- so there's this thing going on, right, with card games where everything coming out is just duel masters. Um, and that's kind of what One Piece is. It's not, and like, because my problem isn't the mana system. It's just that with the way that the game is, and like with certain mechanics, it just feels like it's literally just Dragon Ball Super. And I don't really care much for Dragon Ball Super. And just don't understand why Bandai would make a game that's an exact copy of an existing game that Control and expects it to do well. Those two games are not going to do well in the same market together.
All right.
When I
Um,
play those games, also, it just makes me want to play Duel Masters.
yeah. I was a fan of Duel Masters, and I totally understand.
Yeah,
There has been, which is a reason why I changed my game from the latest interaction to this one. Um, but yeah, it basically has been, I don't know, 2018 moving on. Every single card game has been
Duel
Duel
Masters.
Masters.
Dragon
Um,
Ball,
Dragon Ball
Digimon,
Z, yeah. Um,
One Piece, Build Divide, Build Divide. Oh, Build
yeah,
Divide. Don't defy.
Yeah, Digimon, every single card game, everything is like dual masters, and they
Yeah,
just change something. Um,
and it'd be one thing if the game like had something like to make it different enough, like Digimon with the Chrono Clash system, and the way that the shields just go to like the way that they work. Um, the shield works as makes the game feel different enough. There's also mechanics built into the game, like where it's more based on like evolution. Like the game, even though on paper looks like Dual Masters, when you play it, it's not Dual Masters. Like that's one thing, but then there's just games that they're just Dual Masters. There's nothing special about it.
and the thing that I find, Argent Saga is another one. Um,
Yeah,
so having all these games coming out and being essentially the same, because there's not much different between them, um,
yeah.
is what turned me off a little bit from these games.
Hmm.
Um, I will say, all right, this is how I see it. Digimon is for old school people who are obviously like Digimons. Um,
Yeah,
However, it is attractive to new kids because again, it's how you call this, an opponent to what Pokemon is. Um,
yeah.
Obviously, is on a different way, but you still have your collectible monsters and you evolve them to something big, um, which is
Seriously, I can do that.
attractive to um, kids who play Pokemon and wants to play something a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because both games are again totally different.
Hmm.
Um, but when you compare all the games that are coming out, that you can actually tell are coming from something from Duel Masters.
Right.
Saying first of all, every fucking Bandai game,
Every man that game, yeah.
yeah, and then obviously all these extra other games, they're the same. It's like um. So let's talk a little bit about Duel Masters, right? Um,
Right.
you
One
have
of the goat.
your every card's mana.
Hmm.
Um, every card, not every card can block. You need blockers to actually, go into it. Um,
Hmm.
and you have
But every
your
card can attack a creature when it's tapped.
yes, and then you have your every card deal one damage, unless obviously specifics. But one damage is basically one shield, or let's say one shield. So that is the premises of a dual masters is. Yeah,
Hmm.
you have your abilities, your evolutions, blah blah blah, but that was the premises of what dual masters was.
Yeah.
So Digimon have
Hmm.
everything that dual masters do, except that they change the mana system.
Right.
Um, Dragon Ball has everything that dual masters do, except that instead of changing the mana system, because the mana system is the same, instead of changing the mana system, they
As
add
and
a hero or a leader.
hmm.
And that leader has obviously a baseline that you have to pass to deal damage, to break a shield. In this game, yeah, you have Dual Master was 5 life, this one is
This one is
7,
8.
but still
No,
the
it's
same
8.
thing. Huh?
It's 8.
On Dragon Ball?
Yes, and I don't know why it breaks
Alright,
immersion.
alright, alright. Um, and then Build Divide. Wait, what does Build Divide has different? Build
Okay, you
Divide
ready for
is
this?
an exact copy of Duel Masters.
It is, but here's what makes it different. You ready?
Yeah.
You have 10 shields,
Wow.
and you start with 2 mana in play,
Okay.
and it's mandatory that I believe you run
12.
12 copies of a specific trigger that if your opponent attacks your shields and you reveal that kind of trigger, you have to take another damage.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
could potentially OTK somebody based
Yeah.
on luck.
That is totally true. Yes. So, but the the premises of Build Divide is exactly the same as Dual Masters. You know the only difference is obviously you start with 2 mana. Every card is his mana, so you start with two, and
I will.
the
Yeah,
the the pain damage or whatever the
yeah.
burst triggers, and you start with like 10 life instead of 5. Um.
Oh, and the shields go to the graveyard instead of the hand.
Uh. So again, not much of a difference in there. And then we did talk about Dragon Ball. We did talk about um what else we have?
I mean, there's One Piece. One
Argent
Piece is.
Saga.
Oh, go ahead.
Let's talk. Yeah, let's leave One Piece to the end.
Okay, okay.
Argent Saga. So in Argent Saga, you have your mana is in an extra deck. It's lineal,
Mm-hmm.
so you get 1 mana every turn. Um, Actually, mana is generic,
Mm-hmm.
but you are locked to a hero. So whatever your hero color is, and your spirit, so you can run 2 colors if your hero and spirit are different colors. So you are locked
But
to whatever your hero and spirit are.
there is a specific value on the spirit card that lets you know how many cards of this color you can have in the deck.
True, true. Um,
Also, shields are fixed, so it's not
that
as
is what I
random.
was going with. Yes. So those
Yeah,
5 shields you have are on a separate deck. They're not randomized from the cards. They all have triggers, or well, I don't know if they all had triggers. Anyways, and they have a baseline. So in order for you to break that trigger, you have to attack it. It flips over, and it has a baseline that you have to overcome.
yeah.
So it's again not much different from what Dual Masters was. You still have your shields. They have a baseline, but you still have your shields. Instead of using hands on mana on hand, you have your mana on an extra deck. The rest of the game is the same. Um, the heroes and the spirit don't bring like they while they do have effect, they don't bring anything mechanically. Um, is just to lock the game to specific colors. So um, I don't say that Argent Saga was very much different from Duel Masters. Um,
No, then it just felt like Duel Masters, Force of Will, and Yu-Gi-Oh, but I don't know.
um, yeah, for Argent Saga, it did feels a little bit more. Instead of feeling like Duel Masters, it feels a little bit more of a mix between Duel Masters and Magic. Duel Masters and Force of Will. But still, but still, the premises of the game were there. You know,
Yeah,
which is what I'm saying. And then obviously the new card is the new card. In the game in here. Well, actually, before that, there is 2 other games from here. At one is from the community and is actually um how you call this? It's actually new. Uh,
mm-hmm.
um, Um, uh, and it's being like it's starting to get a hold. It recently start to release. That's what I meant to release. That's
Mm,
birthright. Um,
what's it called?
birthright.
Or I haven't heard of that.
Um, I'm not saying that the game is like Dual Masters. Um,
Mhm.
but again, it has a resource. It doesn't have a resource system. You can play one card per turn, changing against the feeling from Dual Masters. But you do have the shields, the triggers. Um, in this case, obviously, Aegis is I think it is called the shields. The shields will have a
Mhm.
baseline and they will be able to counterattack. So if you don't destroy them, they will destroy the creature who attacked them. Um, but still, um, it's another shield-based card game where you attack, you need a blocker, you don't, not everything. Um, it's, and still had the feeling from Dual Master except that this one has no mana system.
Right.
Um,
That's interesting.
um, then there is sorcery. Is it sorcery? No, it's not sorcery. Is key cryptic? Cryptic. There is cryptic, which is
That one looked like Duel Masters when I looked into it, but I don't know. I have to. It's been a while since I actually looked at.
um that one. It plays like Dual Masters with a
Mhm.
lot of effect like MTG. So you're gonna have your Dual Masters cards because everything is cards in heart in hand. Every card is as mana. You
Mhm.
have six, I think it is, 11 cards, which is the shields,
Right.
and again, you have your creatures, and you will attack into tap creatures, or you will attack for shields. Shields, in this case, instead of having triggers, well, they do have trigger. It's just that every card in the shield is a trigger that you can pay for. You will have to pay to activate that trigger. You will have, actually tap your mana to actually pay for that trigger, and then you can use it. Otherwise, it will go to your hand. So, you know, it does bring a little bit of a different feel, but again,
Mhm.
still, again, another Dual Masters. It feels like it starts from Dual Masters. Now,
Right.
the effects on the cards are totally different because that's a totally different feel. How the cards feel when you play them, you will have a lot of effects are like now day magic. Um, where a 1/1 is not gonna be a good card. It has to be
Mhm.
a 1/1 with draw card or a 1/1 with haste or
Mhm.
um a vanilla 1/1 for one cost is not a good card. And these games bring me that feel, where um in order for you to run vanillas, they will have to be very powerful. I don't think there's vanillas in the game actually. Um, but the effects on the card feels like very powerful. Um, sometimes you don't have just one effect; you have more than one, and you know that feels bring you to a little bit more of like MTG that what Dual Masters was. Not saying that
Right.
Dual Master didn't have those cards, but usually Dual Masters didn't have interactions on your opponent's turn, where
Mhm.
this game is all about comboing. It's all about doing something against your opponent, eh, disrupting your opponent's play. That's what I should say.
Yeah.
Still, the game plays like Dual Masters. I mean, the base of the game is like Duel Masters.
And
Um,
that's something that I found interesting because I know like with Dragon Ball Super, the way that cost is paid is kind of like how MTG is. So it's
yeah,
very specific where you need like two blues and a red or something like that.
yeah. I mean,
Unlike
yeah, the Dragon Ball did change that. But again, if you have played Dragon Ball,
mhm,
you will know that Dragon Ball is a little bit more chaotic. I would say even more chaotic than what um, um, MTG is
Yu-Gi-Oh.
sometimes. Um, because cars have a lot of effects. Um,
Yeah,
cars do a lot of stuff, and they combo from a lot of stuff. So it feels sometimes like,
those
uh,
aren't cards; those are books.
yeah, that's how it feels sometimes. Yeah. So you know, when you Dragon Ball is a little bit more chaotic, so they needed a way to, um, I say balance the game. You know, making everything one off will not be good for that game. You know, you pay one of that command, then the rest of
Right.
whatever. It will not be good for that game. Which is again the sorceries play like that. You know, every card is as resource, but you have to pay in specifics. You have your two
Okay.
blues and one green, or you know, two blues and two of whatever. You know, you have those on sorcery, on cryptic. I mean, not sorcery. Um, and then you have your obviously your One Piece.
Yeah.
Well, again, it plays like Dual Masters,
Cool. Masters.
but in this case, they add um a hero or leader which has a
Yeah.
baseline. You have to overcome that baseline.
Hmm.
And they add um the two resources per turn, and resources are generic. But you're locked to a color. You're locked of to the color the hero is. So um, but still
No, I don't think so.
you're not.
I don't think so.
Uh, all right, then if you're not, then that's gonna be a big problem. But anyway, um,
Oh,
um,
I'm not sure. I can't remember, but go ahead.
um. Anyways, your resource is generic, but you get two of them every turn, and and obviously you have your hero, and your hero have a baseline that you have to overcome. But the rest of
Yeah.
the game, you still have your blockers, you still have your creatures that can attack. Um, I think the rest of the game is the same. Uh, they obviously added the plus 100 to the Dawn, which I don't think is a bad thing. You can equip Dawns to the cards themselves, then you get them back. Um, I don't think that is a bad thing. Um, they add some stuff mechanically to make the game a little bit more interactive so that you don't have those stall games like there were sometimes on Duel Masters. Um, but still the base of the game is Duel Masters, and that is something that is going to is it keeps on happening since 2018. Many card games are using Duel Masters as baseline to create a game. Um, just in case, I know your game is done before 2018, so I don't have anything to say. I play your game for a long time. Um, and what I know your baseline is Duel Masters. This is why I changed mine. Because, having many of these games doing having the same game as baseline while they do something different and they have different feelings, they still have dual masters as baseline, and you can actually tell when you're playing the game.
I'm not gonna lie, when because I was sitting there, I was like, "Alright, I'm just making set one, playing this game." Then uh, they announced Dragon Ball Super. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And they were like, hey, we have an app where you can play the game. And I played it. And I'm like, fuck! From there, just domino effect. Every game is dual match.
Yeah, it was like, I believe, well, I don't know, Dragon Ball Super was first and Argent Saga?
No, I don't think so.
I cannot remember. But honestly, I know those were like those two, and then every single other. It's like one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean, I love Duel Masters. The
Mhm.
premises of my game were Duel Masters. With a
That more
with
like
a with
Naruto
a
when I played it.
say what?
It felt more like Naruto when I first played it.
Well, the premises of my game were Duel Masters and Naruto. um, but again, it was what I was aiming for until 2018, well, 2019, when all these games came out, and everything is Dual Masters. Well, not everything is Dual Masters. Everything has the baselines of Dual Masters. And I was like, all right, I while I don't hate it, like I said, I love Dual Masters.
Yeah.
I wanted my game to be unique on every aspect,
Hmm.
and whether it's that good or not, because I know some people say if it's good, why changing it? I want to do what Dual
Maybe a bit
Masters
different than everything
did.
else.
I
Oh, go
wanted to
ahead.
do what Dual Masters did on the
Hmm.
2002, where every game was a copy of either Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, or Magic. Oh well, not let me rephrase this. Every game was either a copy of Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, or Pokemon, or feels like a board game. Because you have those Star Wars games. They were
Or
pretty
was a life
popular.
decker.
Say what?
Or was a life decker.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, you have your life decker, myth and legends and stuff like that. Yeah, that is true. There was a lot of life deckers back in the 2000s. Um, but again, what Dual Master brought was something fresh. Was a
Yeah.
different kind of game, a different kind of pace. So
Mm. It had that good, like, at least this is how I like to see it. And this is what I try to do with my game. It had that nice sort of balance of both um, Western and Eastern game philosophy.
yes,
Like you could kind of
I
get
mean,
that from the game
I
when you
mean,
play it.
let's say like it has a good feeling on Western and Eastern, play
Yeah.
gameplay. Let's not say
Hmm.
balance.
Yeah.
I still think that Holy All is broken.
No, 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 no. Holy all is not, dude. Just it's okay. So what if you attack my shield and all your stuff is tapped and now I can just like attack you for game and not worry about your blocker? Like that's no, no, no.
Yeah, even if it's not, you can do that on your turn, and tap everything so that next turn, I don't know, you can go in for game. So it was Holio was a really really strong card and even stronger trigger.
Hmm.
But yeah, um, again, um, that feeling is something that dual masters bring, and it's something that I wanted to do, even though my game is not popular, even though my game is not like something that is going to be on a company, being sell outside on the mainstream. Um, if I see somebody over there, running around, using a mechanic like I do, I can actually go and say, okay, that was mine.
Right.
Um, but yeah, that is what I try to do with my game. I try to make something totally unique, something that even if it even if it is even if it's not the same what you're expecting, let's say like that, even if it's not what you're expecting, it feels new, and that's what I'm
Right.
trying to do with my game.
When I with Oversoul, I would say because it does have that base of dual masters, but um I try my best to take like what's already existed and put a twist to it and make it feel familiar yet new at the same time. Which I've gotten that with some people. I've had some people say this feels very refreshing, or like this, like it. I mean, it plays like it, but it feels weird because it's not how it normally a game like this would be.
Yeah, I mean, in your game, the cards in your hand matter, so that having a little bit of draw power is always important. um,
Hmm.
um, you add the reduced mechanic, which brings which brings a little bit of a new feeling, to the game. Um, uh, and obviously the combat mechanic of using your damage as resource, which is really interesting. And while it helps you, it also locks you out when you're deck building because you're expecting sometimes your opponent to go certain ways, and it goes to all the opposite to what you want. But still, um, again, it is it feels kind of different. Again, I'm not saying all these games are the same. They are not the same. What I'm saying is that the base of the game start from one point, and you can
Hmm.
see it when you play the game. Even though the
Yeah.
feeling is different, you can see it when you play the game.
Um. Also, I feel I kind of feel like, and of course it's kind of in the name, but with battlers, spell cards or the equivalent of spell cards, because not every game calls them spells, aren't as important. And one thing that about my game that I do, that I'm glad that I implemented and that I enjoy is that whereas creature speed is slow, um, you have your mana, you tap to summon the creatures, kind of like dual masters, MTG, most card games. The spell speed is like really quick. It's really fast, like Yu-Gi-Oh,
Oh
and you're
yeah,
able to combo in this game a lot.
yeah. Where you use how you call this? Um, I forgot the word that I was looking for. It. Anyway, you use a system where you have so many manas, and once you get to a certain point, it unlocks a spell or a cost. So it works
Threshold,
more
yeah.
like a threshold. That is the word I was looking for. It works more like a level system from from Vanguard or something like that, where once you have 3 mana, every level 3 or lower is unlocked,
Mhm.
and you keep going over, on from there. So,
Yeah.
which is something that my games also have. It's just my games use specific colors. Uh,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, it is. It does bring a little bit more of a what is the word I'm looking for? A little bit more of a fresh. That is the word I'm looking for, of a fresh point of view, because you only pay for your creatures, and your spells feel like they're free. Like you can play them at any time. Once
Yeah.
obviously you have unlocked them. Um. So yeah. Um. But yeah. Again, that is why I decided to make the changes that I did on my game. Um, Using not only a terrain system where you have to, create a terrain for your creatures to actually, do battle and stuff like that, but it also
Mhm.
works as a threshold for specific colors.
Yeah.
Each location having a specific color, and you know, they 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 fill up a threshold so that you can unlock what cards are you playing later on. Um, but yeah, the again, you still have your attack and blockers, just like in Duel Masters. You still
Mhm.
have your shields and triggers, just like in Duel Masters. It's just like it's also a mix with life. So as you take a shield out, um, the shield will go to another resource. So you take the shield, it doesn't go to your hand; it goes to a second resource, and you whatever the damage value of that card is what you will get as damage.
Right. Um.
You still have triggers, so the feeling from Duel Masters is still there. It's just another step for
Yeah.
all right, you're now taking damage. It's not just shields.
Yeah. Because like, and that's the thing. Because like, you have with dual masters, it's like pretty much from shields, everything goes to your hand. But in my game, like, it's the triggers work like it's dual masters. Yet and things don't go to your hand. It's just it's kind of like it's basically card fight Vanguard and dual masters. Yeah, the damage is is
I wouldn't
Vanguard.
say that your game is like head of Cardfight Vanguard, because yes,
Oh,
Cardfight
it's
have a secondary
it's the-
resource, but in your case, it's like more like a combat mechanic where you can use that damage as resource, your main resource.
I also use the chain or like the soul. I guess you could say in Vanguard,
Oh,
but
okay,
every
yes.
has like the chain. Like that's one thing. My game has like what like three, four different resources, which can get very confusing and complicated for like newer players, but for veteran players, it makes it really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm. I mean, to be honest, I feel like many people nowadays want a game that is fast. Not that it's
Yeah,
fast. Let me explain this. They want a game that they can do big stuff at the beginning.
yeah,
That they can, you know, release like your hero, your biggest monster, your boss monster at the beginning of the game, even though you run out of steam later on. They want to do the big stuff at the beginning, and they try to end the game as quick as possible. Um, and I feel like that is fine. That's what One Piece tried to do. Giving you 2 manas per turn, because basically, On turn 3, you can bring your turn, your 6 cost, and turn 5, you're bringing, your 10 cost or a bunch of quick monsters. Um, so again, I totally, it is fine. It is a target audience that they are, aiming for.
Yeah.
Um, but I do like and I do enjoy those games that build up to something. That is not, I'm gonna do, this big thing at the beginning, and then I don't have
Hmm.
anything, for the rest of the game, or if I don't win on the first 3 turns, the- the- I'm, I don't know, I give up. I'm not playing because I know my opponents will totally crush me. Um, I don't like those kind of games, which is again why I quit Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Um, is again why I'm not playing One Piece, and it is again why I'm not playing many of these
Card
card
games. Yeah.
games that try to do that. I want something. I like to play the game. I like to take my cards, not like Yu-Gi-Oh, where because yeah, I have many people telling me this. I like to sit down, draw my hand, and play my deck.
Hmm.
I want to play through my cards. I want to have a board, build a board, and play the game. And some people telling me, "Oh, you're playing the deck." Yeah, but Yu-Gi-Oh is not playing the deck. You're just it's like the cards are telling you to go into your deck, search for this dude, put it in
It's
play,
all the
now
same.
sacrifice it for search for another dude, put it in play, and you keep doing that and doing that and doing that and doing that until yes, you build a board. But it's turn one.
It's not as satisfying as like when you're like slowly building up and like the gratifying feeling like we were talking about earlier with MTG.
Yeah.
Like Yu-Gi-Oh have that, and I feel like with players wanting things to like happen early, I think that they're all just spoiled by games like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh that do that. Like I kind of like my fast gameplay, but even I do enjoy like um a slower pace sometimes, which is why the creatures in my game are slower, but the spell speed is faster, so I can at least still do stuff on my turn, and it
Yeah, I
doesn't
mean,
feel.
like I said, I like games where I can play the game.
Yeah.
10, 5 minutes game, I think are too fast. 15, it's okay for me. I can sit down, and play a game for 15 minutes. That is totally fine. Um, I think that for me, 20 minutes is my sweet spot. Um, if I can sit
There's
down,
a joke, and I'm not gonna go for it.
say what?
There's a joke in there, and I'm not going to go for it.
I don't know why, but I think I had the feeling that I know. So, I will say that 20 minutes is what I like. 15, well, 15 is a little bit too fast. But I I totally can enjoy a game of 15 minutes. It's,
Hmm.
a I think 15 minutes is good. 20 is perfect. 15 minutes is still good. Um, it all depends on how fast the game plays. Because
Right.
again, maybe I can go through half of my deck um, on 15 minutes. Half of a 40 card deck just in case. Because I know there's 20 card games or 30 card games. So 15 minutes you should finish on 15 minutes. But a 40 card game um, deck is 15 minutes if your game is fast enough. Sounds like a sweet spot. Um,
Yeah.
but for me, 20 is perfect. Um, to
Anything more than 30, no, that's not for me.
say what?
If your game is like more than 30 minutes, like 20 minutes for me is the most. I don't like anything that passes that, or if it's like a 30+ game,
Well, I mean,
30-minute.
your game is usually 20 to 25 minutes.
Yeah,
Obviously, unless you're playing Control, where then it tends to take a little bit longer. But
sure.
that's on any
Yeah,
game or Stall. If you play Stall, it takes to be a little bit
gotta
longer.
hit your deck.
But but well, if you play Stall Control, then it's a little bit different.
I'm
um,
banning cards.
um, but then, like I said, 20 minutes is good. That's honestly that's what I'm aiming on my game.
Hmm.
Fortunately, my game is 30 to 40 minutes right now. Um, set one. Set two is bringing us few stuff to make it a little bit faster. And for the games I have played, they take around 20 to 30 minutes. So
Hmm.
they are on that sweet spot that I aim. Um, Obviously, as the game progresses, there will be new things and gameplays will be faster. But my aim is to make a 20-minute game, and then from there, the game will evolve itself.
Yeah. Okay. So I lost my train of thought. Dang. Oh, dang! I was gonna say something.
But yeah,
Sorry.
anyway, moving on. Um, let's talk about some stuff that are happening right now in the TCG community.
Hmm.
I know this is not new. I mean, there's some stuff that are new that are happening right now, but what I'm bringing is not a new topic. But for us who haven't done this podcast in wow, 1 year the last one was 2021,
Yeah.
so 2 years, 2 years. Um, so we haven't talked about it, and that is the situation right now with first. Well, I have two topics. So the first is MTG. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know if you had known about what is going on with the world of MTG and Hasbro and all that stuff.
I somewhat know.
All right, so basically, um, they are saying that they're good. They do the 30th anniversary, saying that they were good, and it turns out that 30th anniversary was not as good as they thought.
Hmm.
Um, so Bank of America, criticized them for the way they are running Wizards of the Coast and, you know,
Dang.
taking down the company itself. They say they're bringing it down.
Wait a minute. Whoa. Bank of America has a bone to pick with Hasbro,
Yeah.
and they're trying to take them down.
No, no, no. They say that Hasbro is trying, it's not doing anything for Magic the Gathering. They're saying that what they're doing is totally wrong and they're gonna bring Magic the Gathering down.
I agree. Yeah.
So obviously, this this turns into a turmoil and whatever. Um, and the point here is that do I have? Give me 1 second.
So while you're doing that, I just want to say that I find this interesting that even Bank of America just comes down. It's like, yo, hey, I don't like the way you running this game. You're fucking it up. Uh, and because and it's just funny, and this is Hasbro we're talking about because like a couple of days before, our mutual friend of ours, his name is Kiro. Uh, he I was talking to him about Beyblade because we're both fans of Beyblade. And Takara Tomy is actually going to release the tops themselves. They're not going to use Hasbro. At least that's what we've heard.
Yeah, and they're gonna re-release the game again, the card game too. Well, no, that is the other one. Never mind that. Um,
Wait, what?
um, Bakugan is gonna re-release the card game too.
So wait, what do you mean? Like they're gonna make more cards?
They're gonna re-release. They're gonna restart. Revamp the card game again.
Yes, because that game was kind of like I mean it's cool, but it's kind of broken.
Yeah. So, what they were saying is that they're gonna bring the company down, and their stocks, are under. They're around the 40s. And right now,
What's gonna happen to MTG? Because are you saying
I mean, to be
Wizard stock is going down or Hasbro stocks
Hasbro
are going
stocks are going down.
down?
So I don't think, to be honest, I think MTG sales are solid enough because they have a good amount of people,
They have a
who will
loyal fan
always,
base.
yeah, who they will
Yeah.
always buy their cards. Um, the problem is that, again, Hasbro
Mhm.
released Magic Anniversary, $1,000 for 4 packs.
For
Um,
4 packs that aren't even legal for
yes,
proxies.
for proxies, yes. Um, which again, they start to people start to seeing it as a problem. They release, um, oh my God, Dominaria. It was good. Much of the Machine was good. Um,
Mhm.
well, not Much of the Machine. New Phyrexia was good. Now Much of the Machine seems to be good. And but if you have seen what they're doing with Commander's Legend, is a $500 box, which is half of, you know, double the
Well,
price of the original ones, and half of what they did for, um, what they call the 30th
hold
anniversary.
on. Yeah, hold on. A normal booster box is two
500,
hundred plus dollars.
nope, 500 for Commanders.
Okay, but I mean a normal booster box, just a regular booster box from MTG
Yep.
is 250.
Well, yeah, it depends where you buy, but yeah, around 250.
Bro, that's too much.
It is right now.
What
Yes,
the
it is.
hell?
I mean, I used to buy them at 120 usually.
I can go to
Um,
any other game and get them hella cheaper, half the fucking price.
yeah, that was a long time ago. So now it is 250, but it is going to increase. Commanders is going to be for 500, around 500 for something. And the Lord of the Rings, they are saying that it's going to be around 400. So that is already double
That
the
is
price.
ridiculous. That's ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
What the?
Um,
Um,
if you've seen the how you call this, the secret layers, they have like 26 secret layers this year.
yeah.
Um, which again is what, two a month, probably a little bit more.
Hmm.
Um, so it's they releasing one set every month. Um, so there's
That's too
like,
many sets.
yeah, there's like burnouts right now. Um, so you know everything is like going up in price. Obviously, the quality of the card is going down.
Yeah.
They fire half of the team. Well, they fire all the team from Latin America. Um,
Why?
I guess they're not gonna do Spanish car anymore. I don't know. Is maybe they have their own team that is
Pero
gonna
por
do it
qué?
now. But but yeah, it's like a lot of stuff is happening with MTG, and they're saying that again, Hasbro is gonna bring MTG down. They're,
They are. I agree. I agree. I agree. Um, yo, okay. I know what they did with D&D. Do you know like about that stuff?
yeah, they lose $40,000 just because people stop, the
Yep.
monthly subscription to D&D. Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean they try to do it. Well, they try to do it, but it's like we were just like having an idea. We're gonna reassess this issue, and we'll come back to you later. So
Yeah.
it just
Like,
we'll see in the future how it goes. But so far D&D win the battle, so we'll see.
cause like, yo, like dead ass. Me and a couple friends or a couple of just people in the community, we would talk and like, like, man, just give it 10 more years. MTG is going to die, and like other games are gonna come up, and they're gonna like, do good and stuff like that. And
I mean, there's other
you
games
know,
right now that are pretty, you know, on par with
yeah.
D&D, Pathfinders. Um, well, there's was
But I
another one
mean,
I
like
can't remember.
trading card games though, like from
Oh,
compared
okay.
to, like it'll if MTG were to um die or just like not be as popular with people as it is right now, maybe other games can get closer to the big three and um, spread out more and
I
like
mean, there's a few games that are going up on popularity, and I hate to say it, but One Piece is over there with them.
I
Um,
just I just like
Obviously, you have your big three. Pokemon is in first place and will keep being in first place for a long time.
it would always be first place. Yeah,
Um, Dragon Ball. I mean, MTG and Yu-Gi-Oh. Um, Fourth
I feel
place is Digimon. Um, I know fifth place is for One Piece. I cannot remember sixth place, but I know seventh place is for
yo, where are you getting
Dragon
this
Ball.
ranking?
Say what?
Where are you getting this ranking?
Oh, I forgot where they get it for, but I was watching one of these YouTubers the other day, and he was saying the positions of the game based on sales.
Uh okay. Um hmm.
But yeah, um, but yeah, it wasn't. It was good to see. Obviously, One Piece have increased a lot to be in in this list out of nowhere. Um,
I don't know how. I don't know where. Maybe collectors.
um, again, the gameplay is not bad. It's just too fast, a little bit too fast for my taste, and I don't know.
But I
I
don't. I don't really see anyone playing it, or like I've heard people play it, and then like it's booming for 1 minute, and then it just like kind of calms down.
wait.
You
The
know.
the game is fresh. I have to say this. The game is fresh. We don't know where it's gonna be from here to 2 years.
Die, burn, die.
But um, I honestly don't see myself playing it because it is a game that it you think it will build up, but it doesn't. It's like trying to play the fast. game possible. The fast, I mean, not the fast game, the 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 strongest possible. It's like one of those games where I tell you they want to do all this crazy shit at the beginning and then run out of steam. Um, where I like the opposite. I like the games where you build up to something. So that's why I don't. Even though you have the feeling where you're building up because you start at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 to max out. Um,
Mhm.
I believe it's too fast for me. It's too fast for my taste. What they
And this,
tried, even if it is 15 to 20 minutes, because the game is 15 to 20 minutes. Well, usually.
yeah,
Um, the game is around the 20 minutes, which is, again, the sweet spot for me. But what it's trying to do is what I don't like. You're trying to be that game where you try to play your best at the beginning and run out of steam at the end.
and that's kind of crazy because like that kind of just reminds me of Force
It
of
does have
Will
trigger
because
and triggers, so
it has what?
it has triggers though. So
Triggers don't make a game good though. But,
no, but it has like a little bit of combat mechanic.
yeah, I am.
When you still, it's like when you think you're like feeling out of steam and you get that
Mm,
trigger, you go back to the game. You see, but if you don't,
yeah,
then I don't know.
it kind of reminds me of what Force of Will has become because and like a lot of like with the community and I'm not gonna that's a that's a can of worms that I don't want to just open up and some people find this and then next thing you know I'm getting hoarded by a specific fan base of a specific YouTuber. Uh anyways, it, it's already controversial to the people that likes the game. Because like I enjoy what Force of Will is, but at the current moment, it's like it kind of just became that like balancing just became Yu-Gi-Oh,
Yeah, I
and
did enjoy Force of Will. I did like Force of Will. Um, it's just
yeah,
I don't know where Force of Will has gone since the Strangers. I think the
yeah,
Strangers was a broken mechanic. I guess
definitely.
they try to bring back, those broken cards they used to have back then.
Hmm.
Um, and they thought they have like, this perfect game, where it's all randomized. Right? Well, great. It's randomized, but it's still broken.
Yeah,
So I don't know.
because it's like
You get one of 10 randomized cards that you put on your deck at two per game, so you have 5 cards in that deck. You bring one of 5 cards randomized that you put in there that
I don't know, man, because like it just doesn't make sense because you have the game was designed and built in a specific way where it obviously wants to have that slower kind of gameplay, like kind of like what Magic has. Um, but then you just make stuff that just skips that. It's like a fighting game character that has all these options that allows you to skip neutral, and it makes no sense why you do that.
I mean, I
Um,
like Force of Will because whether or not, you know, at least what they tried to do was, if you see the game, is Commander Magic. 40 life, 400,
mhm.
4,000 life. Um, it's 40 life with a commander. That was the game was. That was the game it was, and obviously they tried to fix the mana. And the game was that, and then
with, with a
obviously,
different interaction.
yeah, I mean, yeah,
Combat was a lot better. Honestly, I just think Force of Will is a better MTG when it first started. Now the balancing, the card designs are a bit
Yeah.
wrong.
I mean,
Yeah.
to be honest, Force of Will was good at the beginning. Set 1 and 2. Set 3 was, I don't know what they thought. Um, but after that, it was like they relaunch, reset everything, relaunch. They did it
Mhm.
again before New Valhalla. They did it again when they sold the company. Like, it has changed company like 2 or 3 times. I can't remember right now. So every time they do that, it's like
Let me
somebody
change.
new come over to just take over the balancing, and screw it everything up again.
So if I'm not mistaken, I think it only changed company once. But the second thing that you might be talking about is how AG, the original creator, kind of got fucked over, and the person that's responsible for why Force of Will is shit
Yeah,
now.
well, somebody else took over. That's what I meant. It was, I think it happens twice.
Hostile takeover. That's what that was.
Yeah,
Um,
it was a coup
dude,
d'état.
yeah,
But yeah,
by somebody that just doesn't care about the game. Oh, one thing. Okay, this is one. So you know how Commander has partners, in MTG.
I forgot about that. A long time ago.
Yeah, that they made that a thing in Force of Will. I don't know why that's a thing
Oh,
in Force of
really?
Will. Yes,
Didn't they
and it's
saw that it didn't work on the NMTG?
it works in Commander.
And that it does not.
It works for me,
It was broken on Commander. They banned those.
bro.
Yeah.
And but when you have that, well, like, when your whole game's like premise is like Commander and stuff like that, why would you make that? I don't know. That just makes no sense. There's an actual Commander. There's a Commander format in this Commander game called Epic Stories, where it's a singleton format. Um, you can only have like what cards in your deck that is the same color as your commander, but you get two commanders. Like that's okay. You're doing a format like that, an unofficial format, and you're having fun. But like you're designing like partner roller J rollers
Yeah,
and
for
make
the
no, that's that no
yeah, it
no.
is
See,
not
see,
it is not nice. Well, I did not know that. I mean, again, I stopped playing it, so I haven't been following
it's not good.
it.
I miss my fairy tale deck, even though it was kind of broken at one point.
Yeah. But yeah. Um, let's see what else we have. We talk about the MTG thingy, and there was another thing.
Bakugan's coming back, you said.
Oh yeah.
I'm surprised about that. I thought they just like forgotten about it because like I actually discussed this with Kiro. Like they just did not do a good job with um pushing the game. Like even though the game was like the game itself I think works, but the card design, which Spin Master's in charge of this the card design, the card design was horrible. The card design was broken. But the reason why the game was like barely around was because they barely pushed it, and the only place they did push it was like I think in California.
I mean, to be honest, I'm not a fan of Kodok, but he's the only person I see talking about it. So I don't know.
because Kodak has he's biased and has a raging heart on Bakugan.
I mean, I know his bias. It's like every time he goes and to talk about a game he don't like, he actually says, "This is the game that I don't like."
Yeah.
And I mean, you have to give credit where credit goes. The game has been around for more than 10 years, so even if you don't like it, is
Well,
pretty good
Bakugan.
game. No, Car 5 Vanguard.
Oh, I mean. like there's some because he made a video. I think he deleted it, but he made a video talking about why he didn't like Carbide Vanguard, and it's like there's some points that he had that were valid, but when, I feel like what just made the video just ass was he didn't like the game because he made a joke that a little kid made a joke and he's like, I can't believe you said that from the line or some shit, and it hurt the kid's feelings. He blamed it on the show.
Mm, well,
Also, he has gripes with certain aspects of the game, which I feel like his solutions to fixing Vanguard were things that they had at the beginning, which just made the game broken, and so they had to fix it. So, for example, unmixable clans, they had it to where you could mix clans at the beginning, and they quickly had to fix that.
yeah. Um, I mean, to be honest, I'm not a fan of Vanguard, but I do have points why I am not a fan of Vanguard, and it
Hmm.
obviously has to do with number one, the mixable clan. Number two, the
Hmm.
selling, the way they sell. You know,
I don't. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so
Like mixable clans, I can deal with it, but the way that they sell the game,
yeah, but it's whatever. I don't like I said, I don't care. The games still have a good way to play. Still have a good mechanic. It is a good game, and I don't go around there, bashing it, because it still is. It has been around for more than 10 years now.
yeah.
It has proven itself.
I think I don't see it. I don't see it like it's kind of like in this weird thing where it obviously is doing much better than Force of Will, but it's kind of like Force of Will where it's like the game works enough to just not die,
Yeah. Um.
and the company believes enough to keep putting money into it so it doesn't die.
I mean, Carfine is Bushiroad's baby. You know, even when they have Way Swords, that is their anime moneymaker. Um,
They
Bushiroad's
know,
baby is always gonna be Vanguard.
yeah.
So they
They
had
even
they had a bunch of other car games. They all
yeah,
die once Car 5 Vanguard release.
because Vanguard was just very unique
Yep.
when it came. It wasn't it wasn't like the other girl. Uh, I don't know why I did that. It wasn't like other card games. You had a game where you one card type, which is creatures. You had your sort of
Yeah, everything
leveling
was
up.
creatures, so that was
Yeah,
something new. Well, not totally new, but new to TCGs.
yeah,
There's a bunch of card games right now that try to do all spells. So
yeah. But those are very awkward.
I mean, you're a wizard and you're throwing spells around, so it doesn't. That's the premises of the game. So you don't. I mean, there's nothing awkward on that. Awkward will be
Is
if
that
you're like Yu-Gi-Oh doing that.
what are you? What, a pharaoh?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like Yugi Muto, like doing like whenever they summon a monster, and I summon Exodia, and everybody was doing it when you go to LGS, everybody was trying to summon Exodia to do that Yugi Muto.
Mm, um, I know they had Buddy Fight, and Buddy Fight was one of those games where it was easier to learn than Pokemon, but it had it had the what is it called? It had both the Vanguard. Uh, I am. Oh my god, I'm losing my train of thought. It had the Vanguard problem, uh, where, or at least in the beginning of Vanguard, where uh, certain decks were meta.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and the Bakugan problem, where card designs were really broken. Um, Main character decks were meta. You have all these different unmixable factions, but only like the ones with dragon in their name are the ones that get the majority of this.
I mean, to be honest, just in case, um, when we say all these cards were broken, it's really hard to balance a game. Um, Especially for a company like Yugi, like Bushi Road, where they
Mm-hmm.
have, because when these card games begin, they have like 14 others. There were like 14 card games at the same time. So their teams were like split around everywhere.
I mean, okay, but one thing you have to understand with, and I don't know anything about the other card games, and I know that Vanguard had their restriction list, and then now they have a ban list. Buddy Fight never had any restrictions, no ban list at all, and the way that they bounce would just be to power creep something into oblivion.
I mean, isn't that what Yugi do?
Yu-Gi-Oh actually has a ban list though.
Well, for sales, you know that is for sale.
Yeah, but like, let's say for example,
It's
and like
like it's like
recently,
this is coming new. Let's ban everything that is old right now from the last, I don't know, probably 2 years. In the next two
listen,
years, it's gonna be released again. But the last 2 years, so that we can sell our new product. And in 2 years, we're gonna, everything on the ban list is gonna go away. You can play with everything again. You know, it,
okay, okay, yes, but
it
when you look at
it is
OCG versus
rare.
TC,
Uh-huh.
when you see that one list is more competent than the other.
All right, yeah. I'm gonna say the
TCG is
OCG.
just a lot more predatory.
Yeah, the OCG is more based on gameplay.
Yeah,
The TCG is obviously based on sales. Um, Again, the OCG doesn't have sales. The OCG is just play the game. You get points. You buy. Well, rare. You do have sales, but you can also get points to buy stuff. You don't have to actually buy. Um, so it's more based on gameplay.
yeah. Man, I think okay. I'm trying to think if there's a Lorcana, right? This is a big jump. We're talking about a completely different game now, but um, have you Lorcana has released newer stuff?
Yes, they
I'm not
have.
looked into that.
Um, I know they have released a few stuff, and I know people still don't know how to play the game. There has
It,
been some speculations.
it looks like MTG. It really does. Like even more so with the newer stuff that has been released. Like it looks even more so like MTG. It looks like MTG with a commander mechanic.
Well, what they were saying on one of the streams is that um they think that damage will stick on the cards. So what they are thinking is that you see those little crystals, that will be
Mhm.
the life of the creature. There's some creatures who have one crystal. That means that once they are killed once, they will die. And there's some others that will have more life. Um, um, I don't know what to think of that. they saying that because of the counters. There are some life counters of stuff like that. That's like little tokens that you have to place on stuff. Um, and so
Do you have
they're thinking
monsters
that will
for
the
yourself?
monsters will have like those tokens, where you whenever it works like MTG, where you are gonna hit the creature's defense. The creatures, none all the creatures will hit back. That is
Mm,
something that they're saying. So you're gonna hit the creature's defense, and if you win the creature's defense over the creature's defense, then you will deal damage to that creature. Um,
yeah.
so that's what they're saying. So the rest about MTG, I honestly don't know. Um, I know there's different types of colors, but again, the car on the top, the cost of on the top is neutral.
Hmm.
So I don't know if you still gonna have to match the color of the card or something, but I know the cost of the card is neutral. So I don't know if I don't know how mana works or anything. Um,
With the counter stuff that you were talking about, it kind of reminds me of the Exodus game somewhat, where you have to have an energy and the power and the life of your creature is equal to how much energy that has.
uh, well,
Of course, it's a little different, but
yeah, it's like the creatures here will have their own damage instead of an energy that you will put on the creatures.
yeah.
Um, but again, we don't know how the game plays, so this is all speculations. Uh, I think
Should
they're doing a good job on keeping it all, a secret for now. While
why
building, while building, um, how you call this?
attention?
Yeah,
I, yeah.
building hub. Yep. So, um, unfortunately, I'm not so high for it. Once I see the counters, I'm like, I'm not playing this game. I mean, I'm playing it. I want to see how it plays, but I'm not a fan of life like that.
I
Um,
just want Stitch deck. That's all. If I can have a Stitch deck, I'm happy.
oh yeah, me too. I want I want the Stitch card, and a couple of other stuff, um, but
Like it's a
usually,
good game.
huh?
It's a good game for collecting.
Yeah. The art looks really well. It doesn't look like really, really fucking good, like a HD, high definition car or something like that. But it looks very Disney.
Yeah, and actually, all of the art is like original art, and it's good, really good art too. Like, that they're like really serious about this game.
Yeah. I, again,
I
I
also,
am not saying
mm,
that the game plays like this. I got a little, like um upset when they were saying the stuff about the counters, and life and stuff like that, because that's not my cup of tea. But
yeah,
I am still gonna give it a chance, and maybe it becomes my cup of tea. I don't know. Probably will be a really fucking good gameplay, and I just start playing it. I don't know. We'll
yeah.
see when the time comes.
I think it'll be like one of those. At least for me and here in my house, I feel like it'll be a family game night game because like for us uh we either play Magic or we play fuck, what's it called? You might know what it is. It's like bingo,
Oh
but
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's in Spanish. And like
Uh,
El Diablo, El Mano.
I don't know what is that. I know bingo, but I don't know it.
I can't remember what it's called, but like It's like the different stuff, but like it's in Spanish and stuff like that.
All right. I could never hear about that.
Um, but yeah,
Oh, that's
um,
nice.
I feel like that's what for Kana would be for us. Real quick, because I know we were talking about dual message earlier. I know that I think he might be the lead designer, but the lead designer for Kaijudo is the one designing this.
He well, they have a few people, but I know that one of the people is yes. Um,
Yeah.
and I hear somebody talk about something. He has something to do with Digimon too. Um, the part of the Kaijudo thing.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Kaijudo wasn't balanced. Kaijudo wasn't the best game, the best
But
dual
it was
master clone.
hard, though.
But
I still play the shit out of Kaijudo, man.
yeah, I mean, it still was dual masters, and it still was a good
Yeah.
game. But like I said, mm, he has other games under his wing, and I'm not
Mhm.
judging because of it. Because I mean, if it was only Kaijudo, then I would have judged. But they also say that he has something to do with Digimon, and Digimon is really fucking good.
Yeah. I want to say real quick. I want to take it back to when I mentioned Exodus. Do you know about what's up with Exodus right now?
I don't know.
So Exodus is in hiatus because um that's I believe, and I'm paraphrasing. You might have to look some stuff up yourself because I could be wrong on some of these things.
Alright.
But from what I remember, it's on hiatus because of COVID, um, and they want to spend more of their money uh, expanding uh, their reach to other people to have more people interested in the game. But I believe that also took away from time to
Yeah,
the
that's what I was gonna say.
yeah to design the game. So usually they're like what like maybe 2 3 sets ahead of like whatever sets released in terms of like what they have designed,
Mhm.
and it sort of just caught up to them because they were just like they shifted their focus because of COVID. And so like they're not saying that the game is dead and that they're canceling it because they don't want to cancel it, but they just want to put it on hiatus for now until further notice.
Well, it, I was talking to Ursa the other day, um,
But that's Urza, man. Come on, no, go ahead.
and we were talking about the same thing that happens to Dual Masters. Um, I mean, the Dual Masters to Argent Saga.
Yeah.
Argent Saga start, it was coming up with popularity, and then Kobe
Mhm.
hits. Um, Obviously, the game was pretty good. Um, it was pretty decent for what they were aiming for. It
Yeah.
was going up on popularity when Kobe hits, and when Kobe hits, we all know where things were going. We all know things are closing. We all know that there will be no LGSs.
Yep.
Um, People will have to, people were losing jobs. People will have to stop doing what they usually do
I feel like you're
to
triggering a lot of people's PTSD right now.
feel to to have a life, to have a different kind of life. And what this did to new games that were coming up is that they didn't stop. They think that the market will be there for them, and At the end, the market was not. And I mean, to be honest, it's Crew Argent Saga. The fact that they continue, they released two more sets after Kobe hits. Um, that was that was it for them. They should have stopped, wait until everything calm down, LGSs are back, and say, "Hey, we're back, we're stronger, and we're gonna continue doing what we do." They
Yeah.
should have stopped with those
Well,
stop on hiatus for a little bit until everything set up. Um, maybe
I
you
def
can maybe you can give them a deck. Hey, here is a new deck. Um,
yeah,
that is something
small
that, yeah, small
take it.
things. Don't bring them a set. Um, but it was like they stop. People start caring for them. I mean, not people start caring for people cannot care for them, and they didn't earn enough money to keep doing what they do, and that's it. That was for it for them.
Yep.
I
Um.
feel like it is going to be the same thing that will happen to Exodus. Um, whether you like it or not, it's like these things are gonna happen. Um,
Mhm.
and there is nothing that you can do to stop it.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that what they could do, a lot of smaller games, or not smaller games, but there's a lot of people that were smart enough to kind of take advantage of the fact that we do live in the digital age. Either switching their game to a digital card game or having more like having remote events and stuff like that. Which I
yeah, I
think
mean,
definitely
remote
they
events work for Vanguard
mhm,
and Yu-Gi-Oh.
started doing it. Yep. And then I believe MTG kind of got on the hype train for that. Pokemon had their online simulator. Well, actually, so does MTG. Um, but
Thing, I mean, I don't think for NTG will work. They'll still have their stupid app, the online thing. So
there's a couple people. They have like the thing was that like, whereas like uh, Card Fight Vanguard and Yu-Gi-Oh was using Discord.
okay.
MTG had like their own like other website.
Oh, all right.
hmm that there's a lot of games that could have done that. I think that Exodus, because I've been in their server a couple of times, but I feel like there's a lack of like interaction in that server, a lack of like push. Like, I mean, I get it that like it's kind of like a two-way street, like if the community is active, then the admins will be active, and if the admins, but like if the admins are active, then the community is going to be active,
Yeah, I
and there's
feel like the admin has to be active for the community to add, to
uh
talk. So even
yeah,
if it is post a card or send a message, or something, you have to
yeah.
be active.
I mean, at most they do is like questions of the day, but like that's not enough.
Yeah.
But like they could definitely just do more events and stuff like that to kind of like keep the community active. Because they do stuff on TTS. That's how they hold their tournaments.
Mm.
I know that the HTCG community, they honestly like it lives on the internet. Like, got in the back.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
say what?
no, go ahead.
I mean, the SCG community is always online. We have to do everything online. It's not like we have any other options.
Unless like you're lucky to have like people buy your game, and you have enough to like to the point where, hey, I want to have like remote tournament. But yeah, you're most gonna have to find some type of online simulator, which there are a few.
Yeah. All right. I guess we have been here for 2 hours and 30 minutes.
No, this is a 24-hour stream. Let's go. No, I'm joking.
So I'm gonna cut it short here. I am grateful for those who watched the video, especially if you managed to get to the end now. Um,
Yeah,
we'll come back. I don't know, probably next month. I don't say this is something that we are going to do like every week. Um, especially when we are planning on talking about other games. I don't think there are so many games that we can talk about. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, we'll do this probably every month, and we'll see how it goes from here on. Probably we'll have more people, jump in.
Yeah.
And any questions you guys have, you can send them to us. We'll talk. We'll discuss them on the next podcast, if any. And I don't know. You have anything else?
Not really. If anyone's interested, maybe I can put a link in the description of this.
Yep.
Um, there is a tournament. I'm trying to do a Swiss tournament on Untap for my game Oversoul. Uh, it's going to happen the coming Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. If anyone's interested, just join the server. Let me know, and yeah.
We'll have that post on the description later on. And yeah, I mean, Astrom Cross is doing some playtests too. Um, First set is out, but we are playtesting ahead of time. So if you're
Yes.
interested, you can play, um, some future sets. Um, so yeah, um, I guess we're gonna cut it here, and that's for today's video.
See you
Warriors
guys.
out.